Okay, so AdCoder Beginner Contest 177. First problem. So basically this problem is basic maths. Speed into time is equal to distance. So basically if we are given three inputs, d, t and s, distance, time and speed. If s into t, that is speed into time, is greater than or equal to d, then we have to print yes, because then he will reach the place in time. Otherwise, no. So the most straightforward condition is this only. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I opened the wrong one. Yeah, so this one, t into s is greater than or equal to d, yes, otherwise no. So this was the first one. Second problem, we are given two strings s and t. We have to tell if t is a substring of s. By removing least number of characters, we have to tell how many characters to be removed so that t becomes a substring of s. So as you can see, there are constraints are not so tough, only at most 1000 letters. So I use the brute force approach only. So in the brute force approach, what will happen? You take two strings s and t, and basically I will generate all the substrings of length t in the given string s. I will generate all the substrings of length t in the given string s, and this is how you do that. I'll keep a count variable and I will count how many changes I have to make, and I'll keep recording the minimum value. I'll repeat it once again. I will generate all substrings of length t. Okay. Then I will check for every such substring how many characters differ in each index. And I'll take minimum of all of those and I'll print it. So for example, over here, ABA can be changed to ABC. So I need to make one change. So that is how we get the answer as 1. This is how you do it. It's also a straightforward problem. So this was problem B. Okay. Now let's see problem C. Problem C, it was something to do with little bit of maths. You might have got confused a little, but it's easy only. We have to find sum of A of I into A of J. That is all pairs such that this condition is satisfied. And we have to give the answer mod 10 power 9 plus 7. So let us take an example. 1, 2, 3. 1 into 2 plus 1 into 3 plus 2 into 3. So let me write it here. 1, 2, 3. What are they doing? They're doing 1 into 2. Okay. Plus 1 into 3. Okay. Plus 2 into 3. Okay. Can I rewrite this as 1 into 2 plus 3 plus 2 into 3? Why did I write it like this? What will be my objective for this problem? First of all, I'll find sum of all elements. Okay, I'll find sum of all elements. Let us find the sum. It is 6 now. Okay, again I will traverse through the array, and when I come to this point, I will subtract this element from the sum, so it becomes 5. Okay, so this is basically 5, and I'll multiply this index with the sum. So 1 into 5. Similarly, I will come here and I will subtract 2 from the sum, which is 5 now. So I'll continuously keep subtracting the elements and I'll multiply the corresponding sum with that index. See, now the index value is what? 2. Sorry, the value at the index is 2. So 2 into, now what is the sum? 5 minus 2, which is 3. So that is how you get the answer. So I will show you. So basically over here, you need to know the mod property. When you're multiplying two numbers, this is the way you calculate the mod. And you're continuously storing it in the answer. So this is how you calculate mod. For more information, you please visit Geeks for Geeks. They have given modulo properties. So while multiplying two numbers A, B, A into B mod C is A mod C into B mod C whole mod C. So that is what I've used. I've used the property here. First of all, find the sum of all elements. Again, traverse through the array and subtract the current value from the sum and add this to answer. Add this value to answer. So this will give you sum of all elements, all pairs, such that this condition is satisfied. And ultimately take the mod, because we have to again take mod. Because we are adding everything, ultimately again take mod while outputting the answer. So this is how you do the third one, the C problem. So now let us go to E problem. E problem, I made a small mistake, but now it is fine. So we have n integers, we have an array basically, and we have to tell whether it is pairwise coprime, setwise coprime, or neither of them, not coprime. So they have given definitions of pairwise coprime and setwise coprime. First of all, we have to check for pairwise coprime. That is, for every ij such that this condition is valid, a of I and a of j should have a GCD of 1. Then only it is called pairwise coprime. Okay. Otherwise, if GCD of all elements is 1, it is setwise coprime. Otherwise, it is not coprime. So for example, over here, you can clearly see it is pairwise coprime. GCD of 3 and 4, 1, 3 and 5, 1, 4 and 5, 1. So it's pairwise. But over here, 6 and 2 GCD is 2, sorry, 6 and 10 GCD is 2, 6 and 15 GCD is 3. And over here, it is not coprime. So how to do this? So basically, we will take three maps: map for even integer, map for odd integer, map for prime. And we'll calculate the GCD of all elements and store it in a variable called G. Okay. And we shall traverse from the back side. Why from the back side? Because, for example, if we first have to check for pairwise coprime, then we need to first of all see whether the current element is even or odd. If the current element is even and there exists already an even element that we have scanned, then the answer is no, because two even elements are never coprime. Two even elements which satisfy this condition, they are never coprime. So I hope you understood that. You need to know some basics like what is coprime, what like parity and all those things. I won't be telling that here, but I hope you can understand. We will be traversing from the backside, and when we get an even element, we will check if there already is an even element in the map. If there is, we will break out. Otherwise, for all the odd elements, we will check if the GCD is not 1. If we get not 1, we will break out. Okay. Similarly, we will check, suppose the number is prime. Okay. If it is prime, we have to check with odd numbers because there is no point in checking with even numbers. Because prime and even is always coprime. But prime and odd, for example, 3 and 9, they are not coprime. So if it is a prime number, we will check with all the odd elements. If the GCD is not 1, we will break. And finally, if it is an odd number, we will check first for all even elements. Then we will check for all prime elements. Then we will check for all odd elements also. So odd is the toughest part. If the number is odd, we have to check with even, we have to check with prime, we have to check with odd also. What are we checking? We are checking if the GCD is 1 or not. If it is not 1, we are breaking out. Why are we breaking out? Because first we have to tell whether it is co-prime, if it is pairwise co-prime or not. So if I is greater than or equal to 0, that means this loop was not completely successful. Because if I was -1, that means this entire loop ran. So when this entire loop did not run, there are two possibilities, either setwise coprime or not coprime. So if G, that is the GCD of all elements, is 1, we print setwise coprime. Otherwise, we print not coprime. But if I is equal to -1, then we print pairwise coprime. I'll just tell again that why we are checking from behind, because our work is done faster. You will avoid TLE. I do not know any other method as of now, but I prefer this traverse from the back side, because this condition has to be satisfied. Okay, this condition has to be satisfied. Traverse from the back side and check for every even element, for every prime element, for every odd element, whether GCD is 1, GCD is not 1. And reason why I took 3 maps is because we will avoid TLE. If you take only 2, you have a chance of getting TLE. So this was my solution for problem E. You can take a look at it again. You can pause the video and see. So that's all for this video. If you found my solutions helpful, if you find this channel nice, please subscribe, share the videos with your friends, and like my videos. It motivates me a lot. Thank you very much. Bye.